2010 saw the Chiefs and SaberCats claim crowns in different conferences. Pulling off a repeat may come at the expense of the other in the revamped division alignment. There's no title on the line tonight, but the fans should get served up an early season gem as the Saguaro SaberCats and Thunderbird Chiefs meet in our Cox 7 Game of the Week. Well, hi again, everybody. Alongside the former Dallas Cowboy Dale Hellestrae, Kevin Ray, thrilled you could be with us for this big matchup. Just week 2 and already has a championship-like feel to it just because of what these clubs accomplished a year ago, Dale.
Yeah, both of them won state championships in different classifications, new realignment. Now they get to play. Be fun to see what happens tonight.
Of course, you know Saguaro, they're all about championships, having won 4 of the last 5. They're perennial favorites. But for the Thunderbird Chiefs, this is kind of a new position for them.
It is, and they've done it with the neighborhood kids, as a lot of people have said, and came from the 10th seed last year to go on and win the state championship.
Shocked a lot of people. There will be no shocking this season. They are led by their 6th-year head coach, Brent Wintweiler. Terrific guy. Enjoy talking to him. And, of course, he was so thrilled because, as he said, we won it with neighborhood kids.
Well, he did, and we also saw him, as we said in the pregame show, he's out there setting up the end zone camera. They're going to watch and film tomorrow. Those kind of things at his school. He takes pride in that. But now repeating, how do the kids come back in the spring and the summer? He's excited to see how that turns out.
Well, one of those neighborhood kids, if you will, that you're going to get a chance to watch tonight. Connor Husted, one of the best in the state, 3-year starter, and has big play capability every time he touches the rock.
We've seen him run inside. He runs outside. The numbers are gigantic. He's going to have a big game every Friday night and every Thursday night that he plays. What's special about him is the fact that you might call a lead draw, supposed to go off tackle. He might bounce it outside. He might cut it back. You never know what's going to happen when he has the ball in his hands.
Of course, you have the defense for this Thunderbird Chiefs club. They lost some key personnel. They'll be tested tonight, but one guy that Wintweiler feels very comfortable having out on the field is Troy Custer.
Yeah, and obviously the defense is going to have to come up huge tonight. When you have a guy like DJ Foster on the other side of the field, you have to make sure you hit every gap. You have to do your assignment, and you have to do what the defense tells you to do. Don't try to do too much. That's when big plays come.
Well, here at the home of the SaberCats, they are accustomed to playing for championships, and it's easy to see why. They've won 4 of the last 5 years. They're led by their 5th-year head coach, John Sanders, and the wins pretty much speak for themselves as he just continues to feed the machine.
Well, I like to think the tradition started back in the late 70s when, you had the Dale Hellestraes and Kevin Smiths coming through this campus for a high school. But John Sanders has obviously taken it to a new level. And really anything less than a state championship has looked as a disappointment now here.
No Ruben for it seems the first time in several years, but that seems to be no problem because you've got the likes of one of the top playmakers in the country in DJ Foster.
Yeah, it's funny. Sometimes I go on these blogs and you hear people, going, oh, he's the best, he's the best. When you're talking about a top 50 guy in the entire country, you're talking about a very special talent. I'm excited to see him play tonight. He's going to play offense, he's going to play defense, he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. And every time he does, get on the edge of your seat because it might be a touchdown.
Yeah, and it seems like over the years in winning those championships, because they've racked up huge offensive numbers, their defense has always kind of taken a back seat. No back seat for this guy, Ryan Merrill. They will lean heavily on him, 3-year starter, and he'll be all over the field tonight chasing the likes of Husted and Kadai Benoit.
Yeah, a guy who's being looked at by Boise State and UCLA and ASU, a guy that has a big motor. He's going to come up and hit you. He's going to go sideline to sideline. It'll be fun to see that matchup.
So the SaberCats and Chiefs ready to serve up a little championship flavor for you tonight on our Cox 7 Game of the Week. Stay with us. Kickoff coming up next.
The live high school football game of the week on Cox 7 is presented by Universal Technical Institute, industry's choice for technician training in the automotive, diesel, motorcycle, and marine fields, and sponsored by Grand Canyon University. Find your purpose. By Rock and Refuel by Shamrock Farms, the great tasting way to refuel and rebuild muscles. By Goodwill of Central Arizona, good stuff, good work, Goodwill. By Don't Trash Arizona, grow up, don't litter, don't trash Arizona. And by Stanley Security Systems, protecting what's important to you.
Well, the sun's setting, temperatures beginning to cool a bit. But it'll be plenty warm down on the field as we welcome you here to Saguaro High School here in Scottsdale, a matchup of two defending champions, Saguaro and Thunderbird. The Chiefs will tee it up and kick it off. Saguaro wearing the all-black uniforms, ready to go on offense here tonight. Kevin Ray, Dale Hellestray, our entire Cox 7 team here in week 2, and we are underway. Deep kick, driven about 8 yards deep into the end zone, and no opportunity for Foster or Pierce to return, and SaberCats will begin from their 20-yard line as we take a look at your Stanley Security starting lineups for this evening. Stanley Security Systems, protecting what's important to you. You see number 8 there in the backfield, DJ Foster, Cameron Larson, Elijah McCade, the other wideout Ryan Pierce, and Vince Silva, another talented wideout as they will spread the field. And see the group up front. Their job is to protect the young sophomore quarterback. We'll talk about him in a moment. Foster, not surprisingly, gets the first touch of the night, and he works it over the right side for a pickup of about 8. Well, let's take a look at the starting quarterback. No longer a Ruben there calling the signals for John Sanders. Rubenzer, just a sophomore, but they feel very good about what he comes in despite his lack of experience. But this is a young man that seems like he was made to play quarterback. Goes to the air here, second play, completes it across the 30, out to the 40, and bounced out of bounds out around the 42-yard line on the reception by Elijah McCade, the 5'10 senior. As we take a closer look at Rubenzer, just a sophomore, Dale, but when you've got a DJ Foster, it takes a lot of pressure off of the likes of that young man.
Well, you see the stats from last week, and as you said, DJ Foster in the backfield with you gives you a little comfort zone. And I know a lot of people have a little fun with there's been a Ruben, it seems like, for the last 20 years here at Saguaro, just adding on to his name.
Back to the air, they try to drop it out of the backfield to Foster, but he gets wrapped up quickly by Robbie Barnes, who came off a block and just blasted him. So Barnes setting the tone early for this Chiefs defense as we take a look at their starting lineup. Freeman off the end, Jonah Draper, Oscar Lopez, Jacob Molina. We'll talk more about him offensively. Joey Latham, Tyler Templin, and Troy Custer, a good one. And the secondary, Barnes, Raynette, Cook, and Bodwin. Back to the ground go the SaberCats across the 45, out approaching the 46 goes Foster for a pickup of about 3, close to 4. Go back and look at that defensive stop by Barnes just a moment ago.
Well, again, another chance to get the ball in a playmaker's hands. You got to make sure that you're out there blocking in front of him. And Ryan Merrill there, new number 45. Hey, I got at least get a hat on him. You get a hat on him, you get DJ Foster out in space, and that's what Thunderbird does not want to see.
So third down here, a long 6 we'll call it from the 46. Rubenzer tucking, running, he's got a little seam, but he's going to be dropped short of the first down marker as he noses the football just across midfield. It'll be about 1.5 yards shy of the first down, but if you know anything about Saguaro and this offense, no second guessing here. They line up and ready to go for it.
If you're the long snapper for the punt team, you don't even go towards the coaches when it's 4th and this short.
Initially looking to try to draw him off sides, unsuccessful in that effort. So Rubenzer stepping back and gets the play call. And a little quick kick here from the sophomore quarterback. And how about this? Like Ruben shows his versatility as he drops it down Inside the 5 is Christian Kirk down on coverage. Downs it, and that'll pin the Chiefs deep in their own territory here as we look at this group. Benoit, Husted, those are the two names you're going to hear all season long for Thunderbird. Rainick, Pugh, and Anthony Mancine. Draper, Bond, Whiting, Molina, and Livermore. And Coach Wittenweiler very high on number 75 there, Jacob Molina, Dale.
Talked about him a little bit before the game, that a guy who can go on to the next level and play, and obviously looking forward to a game against a really good football team and a really good defense in this SaberCat defense.
So ball marked at the 2. Little misdirection as they go right back up the middle. Stacked up after a short gain there for Husted coming up on the tackle as we look at that SaberCat defensive unit. Devin Bernetti making the stop there, 6'1" junior. Rest of the group, Cash Robinson, Rob Deuce, Bernetti, Alley, Larson, Ryan Merrill, another Clayton Bernetti, McKay, DJ Foster, all stayed a year ago as a free safety. 2nd and 8 here for the Chiefs.
Defense, on the defense, 5 yards, still 2nd down.
Take a look at our AIA officiating crew tonight. Longtime referee Steve Huddleston, Jeff Rodmeyer, Dennis Miles, Gary Bringer, and the back judge is Rodney Davis.
Well, it gives them a little breathing room there on 2nd down. You got, you're backed up to your goal line. Nice job with the hard count by that Thunderbird offense.
Here's Benoit trying to bend it around the left side. And that second effort may be just enough to get him the first down as you heard the official bark out the indication. A little breathing room here as Chiefs able to move the chains on their first offensive possession. Having some clock issues. 8:24 left here in the opening period.
Well, as the coach said before the game, our game plan is we want to have long, sustained drives. We want to run the ball. That's perfect. 3 downs. You pick up the first down by a yard. Now you got 3 more downs. Shorten the game. Keep the ball out of Saguaro's playmakers' hands.
The pitch to Husted. He's got a block. Spun around at the 20. Breaks into the clear. 35-40. Out near midfield. And finally ridden down at the 49-yard line of Saguaro. And that is what Connor Husted brings to the table every time he touches the football. That one good for 39. That brings back shades of the championship last season.
Well, I think we're sitting here talking about DJ Foster and Saguaro's big play offense. This is what can happen. Every time you hand the ball off, you don't know. That offensive line does a nice job coming off the ball, doing some zone blocking up front. But you are not going to arm tackle Connor Husted. You have got to forward tackle him. Don't be trying to strip the ball. Get him on the ground.
Big, strong kid, 5'9", 185 pounds. They'll give it to him again as he bulls his way up inside. Moving the pile off to the left and collects about 3 on that carry.
It's like Coach Wittenweiler said, how are you going to defense DJ Foster? Well, it's really not a defense for him, but you want to keep him in front of you. You don't want to go for the big hit. You want to get him on the ground. If that's 8, 9, 10, 12 yards, that's better than a touchdown. Same thing here with Connor Husted. Get him on the ground. Don't be trying to rip the ball out and do all those kind of things. Get him on the ground.
Well, the best way, I think, to defend DJ Foster is to keep him playing defense. Here's Benoit trying to bounce it through a crease off the left side. Gets tripped up there by the SaberCats' Elijah McCabe, 5'10" senior. Benoit, I think people forget, just a junior. Well, so he's got another season.
And what a nice combination they have. I mean, the offensive line coming off the football, and you have Benoit a little shiftier, probably a little quicker, and then you have Husted, who's going to, he does have the speed when he gets in over the field, but he's not afraid to lower that shoulder to gain an extra yard or 2.
Marion directing traffic out there. Here's Husted, looked up inside initially and then bounced it outside. And Dale, I think that is what makes Husted so difficult to defend, because he's got the power and the desire and willingness to take it inside, but he's got that bounce in his step that gives him the ability to take a play like that originally designed to go right up the middle, and he's able to collect the first down just because of that quick burst.
You're going to see just the mass humanity right there. Nice job. You got, number 62 pulling out there and doing a nice job getting his hat on a man. That's Devin Irish. And then, as you said, Houston, he doesn't have the dynamic that some of the other guys we talk about have. But that's pretty dynamic right there. 3rd and 6, and he picks up the first down.
Single back set here as they run twins out here at the bottom of your screen. Here's Husted. Cut back as that defense forces him back up inside. So we'll make it a short pickup of maybe a yard. 2nd and long.
Well, to me, it's little things. Like on that play right there, very easily could have been a 3 or 4 yard loss. I mean, you had a couple SaberCats penetrating your offensive line, but what does Houston do? He makes one miss, he gains a yard. So now you're 2nd and 9 rather than 2nd and 13. You can continue to run the ball if you want to.
Had 146 last week, already 51 tonight. Marin goes to the air, completes, and falling just short of the first down marker was his receiver, Jawan Pugh. Pugh will get some more looks tonight and the rest of the season with the absence of Jeff Light, who they lost to a broken leg, unfortunately, last week in the opening win.
Nice first completion. I always, especially on the high school level, I don't care what level you're talking about, I want a nice, easy completion for my quarterback so he gets to feel a little bit comfortable, and then I can go from there. Nice job with that completion.
And it'll be a first down via the penalty flag, is for the second time.
On the defense, 5 yards, result is first down.
Cats jumping off sides and aiding this drive, and that will drive a head coach crazy as you see John Sanders there. And back to Jeff Light, and talking to Brent Wittenweiler before the game tonight, he said, it was just a freak thing. He was running, no contact at all in the play last week. It happened during the game against Desert Edge. Went down, and as it turns out, has a broken fibula. So scheduled for surgery, and he is out for the rest of the season, which is a very unfortunate turn of events because he's a senior.
Well, you talk about football being a violent game, and you see that happen last week. You have an Arizona Cardinal cornerback blow his ACL in a non-contact situation, and it's like, okay, I can deal with somebody blowing you up, but some of these things that are happening, boy, that's tough. Really tough to swallow in those situations. But you get back to that 3rd down. And those are the things that are going to drive your coaches crazy, because we can't hear it up here, but I promise you the defensive line coach is yelling, watch the hard count, watch the hard count.
And you got a veteran quarterback in Vinny Marin, so he is quite good at using it. As Husted and the Chiefs offensively didn't like something that they saw, so they'll burn their first time out of the game. Comes with 5:12 to play here in the opening quarter. Scoreless here from Saguaro High School. Well, each week, Cox Communications is proud to present the Grand Canyon Scholar Athlete of the Game Award. Tonight's honorees are Scott Bodwin of Thunderbird and Cameron Larson of Saguaro. Scott has a 3.97 unweighted GPA, plays baseball, is in boys team charity, NHS, volunteers for the Special Olympics, and rebuilds houses on church mission trips. Cameron has a 4.2 GPA, is in NHS, volunteers for the Cave Creek Youth Football League, and is a peer tutor. Congratulations to Scott and Cameron, 2 outstanding scholar athletes. You see a shot of Bodwin. There's a shot of Cameron there. Friends call him Bam.
Let's go. Hey, come on, guys.
That's a good football nickname. Is Bam.
Let's get a turnover.
He's got that Bam look. Got the.
You know what just kills me? You see these kids, you walk out there before the game, and then you get to watch. I walk by Benoit. I mean, he's listed at 6 foot, 195 pounds. We almost got hit by a punt or something, and he yells out 4. I said, "You play golf?" He said, "I got a pretty mean 9-iron." But you see how mature and really big these kids are. And then you see some of the beards and the mustaches. I still can't grow that big of a beard or mustache.
Following the timeout, Thunderbird with a 1st and 10, 5:12 to play here in the opening quarter. First offensive series here for the Chiefs. Marin comes out throwing, completes as they try to set up a quick screen to Anthony Mancini. The senior wideout takes it for a short pickup.
That's just like a running play. I mean, a nicely executed quick pass out to the flat and good blocking. And, you know, if you make one guy miss, it turns from a 2-3 yard gain into a 5 yard gain. I think the only thing that Coach Wittenweiler and her staff would like is he stay in bounds, because you are, remember, this drive started on what, the 2 or the 1, whatever that was. You're taking time off the clock. As you said, you're keeping DJ Foster on defense, and you're driving the ball.
And those are important, too, to achieve, because you can't have 100% of the workload on Husted, who gets the carry here. There is a penalty flag, so this one, in all likelihood, will be coming back as it's thrown in the vicinity of a holding call.
That came out of the guy with the U on the back of his stinking shirt. Oh!
We get the face mask from the defense.
All right, I take everything bad I've ever thought about the umpire in football. Yeah, but John Sanders is a little bit like me, because, I mean, 99.9% of the time when the umpire throws a flag, it's against. And you see right there, a little bit of face mask.
Hunter Bracey on Chris Livermore.
You're going to see as the play starts. You're going to probably see him right there. That's a pretty good eye. But 99.9% of the time, when the umpire throws a flag, he has a vendetta against the offensive line. Nice call.
This drive continues here for the Chiefs. Fresh set of downs, 1st down, goal to go. Misdirection. Here's Benoit. Drags the defender for a couple of yards as he'll be stopped short of the 5. They'll mark it out closer to the 7-yard line, it looks like.
Well, the other thing this drive has done, and obviously you want it to pay off. You need to come away with points, preferably a touchdown. But it's kind of taken the excitement of the home team here. Saguaro come out fired up, want to put points up on the board. Here you are, 4 minutes left in the first quarter, and you've gotten the ball driven on you 85 yards.
The pitch to Husted. Big hole left side. In for the touchdown. As Husted capping off a 98-yard opening drive here for the Thunderbird Chiefs.
What a nice drive, and what a way to finish. Watch the misdirection, fake the reverse there, toss it out to Husted. Again, we don't talk about how dynamic he is, but yet as you watch him, let's see the next time he gets caught from behind.
Point after good.
All in a day's work makes it look pretty pedestrian, but 98 yards. I mean, but you can see right here, you're coming in motion, so everybody's coming this way, and then you're going to see the pitch right there to Husted, hoping everybody in black bites on it. Nice hook block there, and then just enough room to get in the end zone and jump over the broad jump pit. But yeah, how many times do you see an underdog come in a situation like this and you take the ball over at the 2-yard line and something bad happens, whether you give up a safety or throw an interception for a touchdown, or you see them drive the ball length of field only to come away with no points. Very nice job. You see 5 minutes time possession. As you said, DJ Foster's playing defense, not offense, and complete a couple passes. Nice job by the offensive line, and you finish it off with a touchdown.
And in defensive minutes, that is about 15 or 20 minutes, I'm sure it felt like, to those players out there, as Husted putting a touchdown on the board here tonight. Had 3 rushing touchdowns last week in the victory over Desert Edge, a rematch of that overtime thriller in last year's semifinal playoff victory. But the fact that they mixed in a little bit of everything, of course, primarily Husted, but Benoit getting some touches, Marin some short passes. And while one drive does not a game make, it certainly sends a pretty strong statement to that Saguaro defense.
Well, you know, again, and we talked to coach's staff before the game, Coach Wittenweiler mainly, but you know, he was a little bit amiss as we were talking to him about an hour before the game. First of all, he's trying to set up the end zone camera. We alluded to that. But he said, you know, the first bus that they get on over at Thunderbird High School has no air conditioning. And so they have to go back.
Wait for another bus.
Get on another bus. Well, one of the players forgot to get his stuff off the old bus to get on the new bus. Little things like that go on before a game that a lot of people don't understand. And you have to come out, you stop this high-powered, potent Saguaro offense the first drive, get the ball on the 2-yard line. Not very many people are thinking you're going 98 yards against this defense.
An impressive offensive start, little squib kick here. It's going to be fielded around the 38-yard line. And they over-pursue on the kick coverage. It sets up a nice return there. Here to the near side and coming up with it, Cameron Larson. So good hands and a heads-up play there by Larson. And that will certainly inject some life back into the crowd and to this Saguaro offense.
Well, that's the thing that happens. We saw it last week with Chaparral and all that. When you have a dynamic offensive player, a dynamic returner, Saguaro has one in DJ Foster. We saw it last week with Devontae Reed. It makes your special teams do different things during the week that they're not used to doing.
The handoff is Foster lined up in the Wildcat. The give goes to Pierce. Yeah, a little surprised, though, that they would come back with the squib when the first kickoff had gone 8 yards deep into the end zone.
Well, again, we sat there and talked last week. Okay, you had Sal Point, who kicked the ball off to Devontae Neal, went back and tackled him. And they kicked it off to him again, and he ran back for a touchdown.
Back in that Wildcat formation. Pierce flanked to the right to Foster. Foster, the keeper. Nice through the defense, and nobody will touch him. Touchdown, Saguaro.
Well, and when you talk about dynamic, put DJ Foster's picture right next to it. You're going to see, because there's going to be a hole right here. And remember, on defense, everybody has a gap. Everybody has a gap. One guy's not in his gap, and DJ Foster is going to make you pay. Because if you're not in front of him, if you don't make him pitter-patter his feet a little bit, make him go sideways, you're not catching him.
Some problems with the snap and hold, but they got it up and knocked it through. Peter Dowds, the senior kicker. And we're all tied up at 7 with 3:26 to play here in the opening quarter.
Again, get the ball in your playmaker's hands. Nice job by that offensive line. All you need is one small hole. And when you have DJ Foster with a full head of steam, as he does right here, you see the kick out block there by Dakota Tucker, the offensive guard, doing a nice job, and DJ Foster picking a hole, and then when he does, exploding through it. And rather than having a 5+ minute drive, Saguaro says, how about 53 seconds?
A 38-yard run by Foster. Foster, a monster opening week. 4 touchdowns, 243 yards in that route over Paradise Valley. The SaberCats said, you can have your long, sustained drive. We'll take the quick strike. Thank you very much.
And again, all set up by a special teams play that you probably are going to say, Is that exactly what we want to do? You don't kick it to Bam Bam.
On the kick, sidewinder that sails over the head of Husted. And the Chiefs will start from the 20.
My goodness. You know, in the couple of weeks we've done some games, we've seen some kickers. Dakota Restad. I mean, I don't think he hit. If you're going to say, hey, Dakota, how'd you hit that? He's going to say, did you see the flight of the ball? Not real good. It only went 8 yards deep in the end zone.
Understandable why he would drive it over the head of Husted based on those return numbers. So second offensive series here for the Chiefs, driving 98 yards in their first offensive possession, fueled primarily by Husted, who sets up single back set behind the quarterback Marin. Gets the carry, big hole right side, bursting across the 30. And finally tied up there by DJ Foster and dropped at the 34-yard line.
Well, you got to give credit to that Thunderbird offensive line doing a nice job. Watch over here. You're going to see pull. You're going to see kick out. And then watch Husted, how patient he is. Right here, patient, nothing there. Bam, outside. And what you love as a coach, you see him move the ball from his inside hand to his outside hand. So when he takes that hit, the ball's not going to come loose. What a nice job.
Husted, a little hesitation there in the hole, makes a hard cutback, and SaberCat defense keeps the gain to a minimum. Only about 2 is coming up to make the tackle. Hunter Bracey, the 5'7", 225-pound sophomore.
Well, again, you look at this Thunderbird offense, and the thing that jumps out to me is even on a play like that really went nowhere, didn't look good, you're going to say, we got to improve on that. You still gain a couple yards. No negative plays yet.
Here's Benoit. SaberCats able to string him out a little bit. But you love what Benoit did there that so few players do, Dale. Saw that he was just going to continue to go west. There's a coach would say east and west. And finally, just at the last moment, turned his shoulders square and at least picked up 1.5 yards close to 2.
So we'll give credit to Swar's defense. Nice job getting penetration there. Ryan Merrill, number 45, making him go west. But as you said, decided, you know what? I continue to run straight out of bounds. I'm going to lose yards. I'm going to lower my head and try and gain 1 yard or 2.
3rd and long here for Vinnie Marin and the Chiefs. The pitch to Husted, looking to pass, throwing deep. Man wide open and just past the outstretched hands of Anthony Mancini. He was 15 yards behind the defense, and Connor Husted would love to have that one back.
Well, and I know you've run it in practice a few times. Probably never was that open in practice, number one. You're going to see him right here. He's going to take the pitch. He's going to come out here to the left. Everybody in black came up and bid on the fake. Coaches are telling you, put air under the ball, let Mancini run under it. He did all those things, but just a little too far.
Well, the Chiefs will have to kick it away here. Takes a high hop. Ball will be marked at the 25, and that's where the SaberCats will take over with 1:18 to play here in this opening quarter. Tied at 7 between these two defending champs. As you see, a shot of Eric Wagner. Didn't start tonight. Suffered a stinger in last week's victory over Desert Edge, and he was questionable to even play. But he comes back, a 5'10 junior, and played a prominent role in that championship run last year as they came in as the number 10 seed and shocked teams all the way through. Kicked the game-winning field goal in overtime and in the championship. The keeper here, and A big first down run, 13 close to 14 for Foster as they've gone to that Wildcat now in 2 consecutive series, Dale.
Well, that's something obviously Thunderbird's going to have to adjust to. You know it's coming. You have guys running scout team, but unfortunately, you don't have TJ Foster on your scout team. You fake the handoff here, you read the defensive end, he keeps it. If I'm defensive coordinator against Saguaro, I said, you know what, white shirts, make him give the ball up. If the other guy scores a 75-yard touchdown, okay, I'll live with that.
Foster looking to pass. Has a man open to the outside, a penalty flag. We'll see if the play stands. A big pickup there for Foster and the SaberCats. On the reception, number 11, Will Sheriff. He's 6'2" junior.
Well, probably one of the things you say is a Wildcat. Looks like it'd be an ineligible player downfield against Saguaro. But the one thing, if you're going to be a critic of the Wildcat, is can that guy throw the ball? And here you are, DJ Foster doing a nice job getting the ball out. And an offensive lineman must have just snuck down rather quickly.
Ineligible receiver downfield on the offense. 5 yards. Repeat, first down.
No, penalties have been a bit of an issue so far in this opening quarter. Defensively, it aided in that long 98-yard touchdown drive for Thunderbird in their opening series. An absolute dart as he completes it. Ryan Merrill from Luke Rebenzer, who came back in following the penalty. And just like that, they get the penalty yardage and then some.
Well, you got to like the protection up front. Nice job there. As again, you said, you switch the quarterbacks, you fake the handoff. Obviously, a lot of attention on number 8. Nice little slant route.
Pressure comes when a nice job defensively by John Raynack, the junior, fighting through a couple of blockers and even had the receiver caught the pass. Raynack was right there on top of the play.
Probably a pretty good thing that ball was low and away, because Raynack probably had a chance to pick that off, and there's going to be nobody catching him going the other way.
So 2nd and 10 following the pass incompletion. 22 seconds left here in the opening quarter. Here's Foster again, takes it around the near side across the 35. Dodging a couple of defenders on the cutback into the end zone. He goes. DJ Foster for 48 yards on the score, and the SaberCats take the lead.
Looks like he's down 2 or 3 times. Bunch of white shirts coming at him. Got to make sure you get him on the ground.
Point after it's good. 14-7 Saguaro with 11.2 left here in the opening quarter.
Well, the thing you look at DJ, and he makes it look so easy. I mean, that was a lot more difficult than it looked. I mean, he just takes the ball here, and there's no run pass option, and he fakes some nice blocking out in front for him. And you got to give credit to the Saguaro wide receivers. Linemen doing a nice job downfield blocking. Just a little zone play. But watch a hat on a hat. Finishing blocks, hands inside.
Yeah, got a nice block from Dakota Restad here on the outside.
Make
you
sure
see
you
it right there.
Well, you know, and I was going to say from up here, now seeing it again, Saguaro got away with a couple questionable calls, because just as easy as not calling it, a referee could see that hand outside and make it a holding call. And Saguaro had a couple. I saw the coaches down there talking to him a little bit, because the one thing, whether you're talking about DJ Foster or any other dynamic athlete, when he's out ahead of you, stop. The only thing that can happen is bad.
Husted from the 2. Looking far side, across the 20, up the far sideline of the 40, and finally run out of bounds. They'll mark him out close to the 39-yard line. So Husted showing his big play capabilities in the kick return department.
I did not see his. I saw that they put his stats up there earlier. Now, did this add to his average or take away from his average? What was he averaging coming into this? But so he's averaging 50 yards per return last year. This is just a little step back, but we'll live with it.
Well, Vinny Marin and this Chiefs offense takes over with 4 seconds left here in the opening quarter. Handoff. Boy, Husted just got tripped up as he began to accelerate. He was eyeing a secondary that was wide open. This should be the final play of the first quarter, and an entertaining one at that for the fans. At the end of one here in Saguaro, the SaberCats leading at 14-7 over the Thunderbird Chiefs. You're watching live high school football on Cox 7, Arizona, presented by Universal Technical Institute. Back at Saguaro High School here in Scottsdale. Week 2 of the Arizona high school football season. A couple of defending champs going at it here tonight. Is Saguaro on top 14-7 as we head to the second quarter here.
Have to give a quick shout out to the Saguaro SaberCats and the Booster Club Athletic Director Bob LaRue. Very nice press box conditions. Very nice.
Give to Husted. I am a little surprised, though, as he gets stacked up for no gain. Bring up 3rd and long. They haven't erected the honorary Dale Hillestray press box sign. I was expecting like the neon sign that I'd heard so much about.
Well, actually, the security guy, as I was pulling in, nice defense here by Saguaro. Security guy, as I was pulling in, said, "Can I pull up there by the Cox truck?" And he looked at me and said, "Absolutely not. You can park either on the East 40 or the North 40." I mean, I got my picture up, and the gymnasium.
That's because you still haven't returned equipment, though, right?
Yeah. But yes, and our producer was in my ear. Nice conditions up here. Great air conditioner here in the press box. Any athletic directors wondering what a nice press box is like, come check out Bob LaRue here at Saguaro. He'll give you a tour. Only thing, we need to take one step further. A little food up here in the press box. You know what I'm saying, Kevin Ray?
3rd and long here for Marin and the Chiefs. Throwing. It's going to be picked off at the 45. On the return. He's got a couple blockers out front for Ryan Pierce. And that Saguaro defense makes a big statement there. You get a nice return. There is a penalty flag way back over near the Thunderbird sideline at around the 37.
Illegal block in the back. On the return team. Black will have the ball, 1st and 10 after the penalty.
Well, we talk about this Saguaro offense all the time, but really good job by this defense. I mean, you just have people all over the place. Vinnie Marin drops back, and just a lot of black jerseys over there. Pretty good protection. Ball comes out, but just not quite able to drop that ball in over Ryan Pierce, and now Saguaro's got the ball again at midfield with that explosive offense.
Rabinzer stays in at quarterback, looking to pass, has a pocket, has a man across the middle. Pass sails incomplete.
Well, you got to like the poise of this sophomore quarterback. Last week we saw a really nice one down at Sal Point. Up here, I mean, they have total confidence in him just about doing everything offensively, and sometimes it's kind of hard to take a step back and go, he's a sophomore.
2nd and 10. The give to Foster as that Chiefs defense is able to keep him bottled up. A gain of only 1. You go back to Rabinzer, was a quarterback on that 2009 Argonauts team that won the national NYS championship in San Diego. So, you know, you could see his leadership skills developing just a few short years ago. Play action. Throwing short, has his man, completes it. Wagner upends him, but not before Merrill hauls it in for the 1st down catch.
What nice concentration. First of all, nice call, nice execution, but look at Bam Bam here. I mean, you know you're going to get hit. You know you're going to get hit when you're laid out a little bit like that. Good play action, able to concentrate on the ball. That's going to hurt, but still, it's going to hurt whether you catch it or not. Might as well catch it, but Bam Bam comes down with it for the 1st down.
Back to the Wildcat they go. Here's Foster. He's got a block, only needs 1. Stiff arms 1 defender, and is finally pushed out of bounds inside the 15, and Wagner still down here on the near sideline. Again, didn't start tonight as he suffered a bad stinger last week and was questionable for tonight's game.
Well, I will tell you from personal experience, once you have a stinger, and I've broken bones and I've had surgeries and I've done all those things, once you have one, it's the most painful thing you can have, I guess, this side of childbirth. But once you have one, it's very easy to get the next one. And what a stinger is you get your neck bent back one way or the other, and obviously it's to his right side, and it feels like fire coming out of your arms.
Well, they tend to him as he walks off. Get a chance to hear from Coach Brent Wittenweiler. He offers up some thoughts on facing off against the SaberCats.
It's going to be a good test for us. The kids are excited to see where we measure up. This is obviously the measuring stick of Division III right now. So we're excited to see where we measure up. You know, it's one game, so we're going to go over there. We're going to play the best we can and see what happens. But again, we're approaching it as it's one game. It's early in the year, and you know, if we win, we're not going to get too high about it. If we lose, we're not going to get too low about it. It's a good measuring stick of where we're at and where we need to go.
And certainly he would like to be measured by having a full complement of his roster. You lose Wagner. They've already lost their best returning defensive player in Justin Ganados, as he is out the entire season, and we want to send our thoughts and prayers along to he and his family, as Ganados is battling cancer right now, as the SaberCats keep it on the ground and pound it right up the middle. And certainly send out a big hello to Justin and Father John, who's a JV coach, not here tonight, so that he could be there with Justin. And you can see, if you look at the Thunderbird helmets, they've got the JG there on the back. But Ganados, a big playmaker, 5'9", 175-pound linebacker, had 3 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries in that championship run a year ago. As Saguaro keeps it on the ground again, gives it to the big up back, Cameron Larson.
Well, the thing I think the Saguaro offense does to you is you just kind of get, boy, they start hitting you from every which way, and a lot of it's with DJ Foster, but all of a sudden your head is spinning. And before you know it, they've scored 2 or 3 touchdowns on you, and you really don't even know what happened.
Out of the Wildcat, Foster into the end zone, hands the referee the football, touchdown SaberCats. Boy, you're absolutely right, Dale. You look at that 98-yard opening drive for the Thunderbird Chiefs. 7-0 lead. They were feeling good about themselves. Saguaro had to punt, and all of a sudden now it's 20-7.
Well, watch there. I mean, there's some people there, but watch DJ Foster. I mean, he makes it look very, very simple, and if you get it all off balance, and that's, again, what Coach Wittenweiler was talking about was you can't go in for the kill shot on him. You got to break down. You got to try and make him run sideways.
False start on the kicking team. 5 yards. Still a try for point.
I think Saguaro sometimes just gets some penalties. Just kind of make it a little more of a challenge for him.
One after good. So 3 very impressive series here by the Saguaro SaberCats. This touchdown drive set up after the Pierce interception. Short return.
You have a chance. You've got everybody in the gap, and you just got to make sure that you break down. Try and make him go sideways. And, you know, very few high school kids have that vision. And those that do have that vision usually don't have the ability to act on it. And DJ, to me, that looked like a kid on a Thursday practice going through a walkthrough kind of thing and going, here's a snap, and I'm in the end zone. Another one of those long, sustained drives by Saguaro.
22 rushing touchdowns a year ago, and through week 2, he has 7, Dale.
I'm going in like 30 seconds. Good job, baby.
Has he broken sweat yet? I mean, I think that might just be water he poured it on his head.
And can you push it down in the back?
You know, and I'm sure that even having Foster back, a lot of people, I would imagine, thought, well, but there's no way the Saguaro is going to be able to rack up the kind of numbers they did a year ago. I mean, this is a club, mind you, that averaged 55 points a game last year. I think it was on 4 different occasions they put 63 points or more on the scoreboard. And you look at a Teddy Rubin who departs 5,000 yards of total offense, all state, all everything, goes on to play for Air Force. You know, those numbers just aren't easily made up. And you look at Foster through 2 weeks, 7 touchdowns.
Well, and you lose your offensive coordinator. Coach Lewis goes to McClintock. You're wondering how much is it on him.
Pretty good offensive lineman, Cyrus Hobby.
And yet they continue to reload. And you go through their offensive line, and they're littered with 280, 290-pound linemen. I don't know what kind of water they have here in mid-Scottsdale.
Squib kick takes a bounce off of one of the up backs pads there as John Rainak was able to get it covered up. The Chiefs will have the football with 9:14 to play here in the first half. And all of a sudden they have taken a couple of haymakers and trying to collect their thoughts a little bit.
Well, we talked about in that opening drive. I mean, that's, if you can drop a blueprint to beat the Saguaro SaberCats, that you have to have scoring drives, touchdown scoring drives that take some time off the clock.
Hugh in motion on the misdirection they give to Benoit, who gets spun around after a short pickup.
Well, I look like number 77, Hunter Bracey again. I think you're going to see him coming from over here, getting some penetration. Number 77, just doing a really nice. I'm sorry, he's on the other side of the screen. Couldn't see him there. He's listed at 5'7", 225 pounds. But I've seen him in on a number of plays here in the first quarter and a half. I think that might be a typo.
Pass out to Husted, and boy, very fortunate right there. As the SaberCats defense had that one read all the way. Elijah McDade got a great break on the ball. The ball sailed on Marin, and Husted very fortunate to come out of that one unscathed.
Well, and here's what happens to you. You know, if you're an offense and you come in here with a game plan, and you know what, you want ball control, you want to run the ball, you want to move the chains, you know, take time off the clock, and all of a sudden you look up at the scoreboard, you're down 2 touchdowns. And a lot of times that game plan goes flying out the window, and all you do then is play into Saguaro's hands, because now you're going to give the ball back to him a lot sooner than you would have.
Marin back to throw, nearly picked off as Foster was back there patrolling center field. And Marin, a dangerous pass again, as there were 3 defenders in the vicinity, and very fortunate that it did not result in an interception, but they will have to kick it away.
Really good coverage downfield, little pressure up front by Saguaro, but again, they get you out of your comfort zone. And I don't care what level you're on, you see it happen all the time. For some reason, for an offensive coordinator, it's basically that 2 touchdown mark, because you kind of throw everything out the window, when really if you look at it on Saturday morning or from up here, you're 1 touchdown away from making a one score game.
Muff kick there. SaberCats look like they'll maintain possession as we look at the highlight reel thus far of DJ Foster.
Boy, he looks like he really likes that wildcat position on offense. And he's one of those guys that you take a look at, it's like, hold on, is he running as fast as he can? I mean, is that full tilt? Or does he just run as fast as he needs to get where he needs to go?
As a number of big-time schools see has narrowed the choices.
False start on the offense. 5 yards, still first down.
Among those schools, ASU, as they are recruiting him as a DB and a wide receiver. The defending national champs, Auburn, looking at him as a running back. Oregon as a wide out. USC is a defensive back and wide receiver. And Arkansas as a defensive back as well. The 4-year starter has plenty of options as he takes the little pass out of the backfield. Just explodes upfield quickly. Gets the penalty yardage back. There is a late flag coming in here.
bad call right there. Personal foul. Late hit.
During the play, illegal block in the back on the offense. After the play, dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against the black. Both penalties will be enforced.
John Sanders with arms extended.
Well, we might get it again. You get the ball in space out here, and when I say as he ran as fast as he can, right there, he's going. And now from that angle, we don't get to see the late hit or the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. But
well, you saw the coach asking who was it on, who was it on. I think he's going to have plenty to chat about at halftime here. That is 8:05 away.
Two is the unsportsmanlike with the F-bomb about the call.
And he's warned him a couple times. I heard him warn him.
Shut your mouth. Hey, shut your mouth on the field.
well, the one thing when you're talking about, it's always interesting to me between football and basketball. Basketball, about every word the player or coach says, everybody hears in a high school game. Football, very rarely do you hear what's going on out there, unless you're watching a Cox game. Then you're privy to some of that stuff. 30-yard penalty.
Well, that along with the 98-yard drive their defense surrendered, really the only issues. And you can see the numbers, 9 for 70 yards. Thunderbird has not committed one yet, as they will give it off to Cameron Larson. Tries to get it around the outside. Nice job defensively there by the Chiefs' Joey Latham, senior linebacker, getting outside to make the stop.
Well, and there you can just see the difference. I mean, again, no discredit here at all to Larson, but you know, if you're handing the bat ball off to DJ Foster, it's a whole different ball game. And Thunderbird able to keep up, run inside out, keep leverage, doing a nice job right there. Now, can they get the ball back defensively?
Come back with a quick screen pass. Opposite side, well designed and well executed on the completion. They go to Vince Silva, 5'10 senior on the reception. And he's able to get some of that lost yardage back, and it'll present a manageable 3rd and 7 here for Rebenzer and the SaberCats, though it looks like they're going to line up in that Wildcat.
It scares the daylights out of me. I would not want to be the wide receiver. Silva coming back across the grain, fighting through a couple tackles. Nice job concentrating on the ball.
Foster straight ahead, kicks it out to the outside. They get him stacked up, but that leg strength enough to get it across the 45, and it should be good for a SaberCat first down. It is.
Well, that's comforting if you're calling plays offensively and it's 3rd and 7 or 8. So you know what? Just line up at Wildcat. Let's run. Let's run off the right side here. Nice job. You're going to see good lead blocks up there by that offensive line. And you know, we've talked about Larson and company, but boy, oh boy, very nice to have that explosiveness running right behind you.
I think that would qualify as a luxury, right?
Yeah, I would think that's a luxury, seeing as how there is really nobody like him in the state.
Well, we know his coach thinks awfully highly of him. Let's hear from John Sanders talking about the senior DJ Foster.
Well, he has a lot of natural athleticism, God-given athletic ability. But with that, he's a real dedicated kid. I don't think anyone outworks the kid. He's real good in the classroom. You got to drag him out of the weight room. He's had the desire to be real good for a long time. And when you have that ability and you put that work ethic in, you're going to be pretty good. And DJ Foster's as good as we've ever had.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned, Dale, that he'd been kind of slowed this week due to flu-like symptoms.
Maybe I should go get the flu. I mean, are you kidding me?
You know, people lining up
for
around the
non-flu shot. Give me what he's got.
Well, Foster with one of many honors, I'm sure, to come here in this his senior season. He's been selected to play in the Semper Fidelis Junior Rank All-Star Game. The inaugural event will be played at the Chase Field there in December. And expects to declare his college of choice on Tom Lemming's National High School Football Show later this season. And Coach John Sanders will also be taking part in that game. He'll get to coach the West defense in that matchup. So a lot of great talent will be showcased at that game in December. So fans looking for more high school football, you'll get it.
That's kind of what I did on National Signing Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had the cameras.
You had them all waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, I had all the hats. Which one I'm going to pick? No.
You had all the hats.
The begging.
All the hat.
Please, really? Really cool time in his life.
Well, this is a big 6-19 here for the Thunderbird Chiefs. And if you can manage to somehow stop this drive and get the football back, you feel like there's a chance. As Foster, again, just making numerous defenders miss. The only guy who finally stopped him was his head coach, and he was 5 yards out of bounds. Foster just the epitome of escapability. 3 different times should have been stopped.
You're just going to see right here. I mean, you just take the ball. There's nothing tricky about it, but it can be so disheartening for your defense because, I mean, you have them wrapped up. You have every gap taken. You think you have them thrown for a loss. And not only do you not have him for a loss, you miss a couple tackles. He still keeps his feet, picks up a first down and more.
RPDezignz are back in now. The fresh set of downs on the pump fake. Looking to go deep across the middle. Completes it. And another first down as he connects with his wideout, Elijah McDade.
Boy, when you have everything working offensively and you have that much confidence in your sophomore quarterback, you're running the ball like you are. You see the pump fake there. Pretty good protection up front and throws the ball up and you just go up and get it. Nice job by McDade, knowing he's going to get hit. Still concentrating on the football.
Takes us under 6 minutes. Chiefs showing a blitz. They'll keep it on the ground. Give to the big fullback, Cameron Larson. Pounds it straight up the middle. He'll be stopped short after picking up close to 9. Penalty flag as it's sitting right there in the middle of the field around the 2-yard line.
Well, when you see the defense kind of stepping back, they kind of give you a precursor to what might be coming.
After the play, dead ball personal foul against the defense. The penalty half the distance to the goal line. The result will be first down.
And you see the defensive coordinator Paul Stiak right now just trying to dial up something that will give his defense a little hope. And you can see he's trying to will them into position here. Foster back into that wildcat. Or, correction there, RPDezignz. The give to Foster.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you can sit there and game plan and draw up all these things, as I said. on Tuesday and Wednesday, you have scout team, and you probably have your best athletes back there trying to be a DJ Foster. But you never see that speed. You don't see a speed of DJ Foster until you're out here game night. And sometimes it can really, really shock you.
Now they line up in the Wildcat. Ball's on the 3. Here's Foster. Straight ahead into the end zone he goes. Touchdown, Saguaro. 10th play of the drive, their longest scoring drive of the night. And Foster matches his touchdown totals from a week ago, all coming here in the first half. Welcome to the DJ Foster Show.
Well, it almost seems like if you're Saguaro, you could just line him up in the Wildcat. Again, I mean, you got your lead blocker right here. Just watch him come off the ball, and DJ picks a hole. And I mean, you got a bunch of people there, but nice job up front. Again, we've talked about him a bunch, but Ryan Merrill getting a nice block from his fullback position there, driving his defender into the end zone. And sometimes when it's like that, it's easy. But on the other hand, DJ Foster makes a lot of things look easy. Good job up front. You see Tanner Case, a 6'1", 300-pound offensive lineman, pulling, getting up in the hole and blocking somebody. The size of some of these kids just absolutely astounds me. And not only the size of them, but the athletic ability, the way they can move their feet. Here you go. 6'1", 300 pounds, and can move.
Yes.
I'm 300 pounds. I can't move.
You can move. It may not be quite at the same speed as Tanner Case.
Well, I'm sitting here watching this Saguaro team. Is it any different than the Saguaro SaberCat teams that we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years?
It's, you know, as they say, you lose a Teddy Rubin, and I think a lot of people anticipated some kind of offensive drop-off. They put 60 on the board last week. They're at 28 here with 4:50 to play in the first half. Here's Husted back around the 10. He's got a little seam. Takes it out near midfield, and another penalty flag, and that's been the only problem thus far tonight for the SaberCats.
Well, I think if you're going to look at this Saguaro team, you're going to try and critique them a little bit, because obviously there's so many good things to see about them. But the one thing I think you've seen over the years is probably, if we're going to put a label on, maybe a little undisciplined.
Out of bounds, on black, 15 yards, first down white.
I mean, without even going back in my head, and I can't remember yesterday, but there's 45 yards in penalties from a late hit to an unsportsmanlike conduct to swearing at a referee. Now, again, they're good enough to overcome those penalties in a number of situations. When they meet a team of like talent, that's when those penalties will catch up with you if you don't get them taken care of.
Well, and certainly from one year to the next, because looking ahead to next season, you lose a DJ Foster. And you don't have that luxury. Here's Husted trying to bounce it to the outside, and the SaberCats have been pursuing the football with great fervor over the last 10 or 15 minutes. No gain there for Husted.
Merrill doing a nice job for the SaberCats. Looked like you had a chance there, but a lot of guys running the football. They will run you down. But again, what I think, you're sitting here, if you're Thunderbird, you're going, man, we got to score right now. We've got to score right now. When no, you don't. You need to be patient here. If you can punch this ball in the end zone and go in at halftime 28-14, you're still in this ball game. If you throw another interception, if you give this offense another chance and you go in down 35-7, game, set, match.
Yeah, because they will get the football to begin the third quarter. Well, we've got a timeout on the field called by Brent Wittenweiler and the Chiefs. Let's take a look at our Division III rankings. Not surprisingly, the defending champs on top. Larry Fetkenheyer's Cactus Cobras right there, the number 2 spot. Thunderbird, the Liberty Lions, Williamsfield, Queen Creek, and the Arcadia Titans. All teams who made lots of noise a year ago. We had a chance to be at Arcadia last week. Certainly had a very enjoyable experience last Thursday night. A lot of big games on tap around the valley tomorrow. Make sure you get out and see some of those. One that I know a lot of folks keeping an eye on, Chaparral, Marcos Teniza.
Well, we've got a chance to see that Chaparral team the last couple weeks, and it's going to be a nice litmus test for them tomorrow. See if Marcos is as good as advertised, and can Chaparral get a little bit of that swagger back.
Just under 4 to play here in the first half. 28-7 Saguaro. The give to Benoit. Trying to spin away from that inside defender, but a nice job of hanging on there by big number 66, Rob Deuce. 6'8", 280. Had a hold of the smaller Benoit, who's 6 feet 195. And Deuce winning that battle, so sets up 3rd and long here for Benny Marin and the Chiefs, who desperately need a first down, need something positive to build on. They've had little to work with since that opening 98-yard drive for their only score. Marin going to the air, he's got a man deep, over the shoulder for the grab, and the touchdown. What a throw, and a terrific catch by Scott Bodwin. Marin, who was picked off on his last series, could not have placed that ball any better had he been standing there.
Nice play action pass here. Saguaro only rushing 3. Throw the ball up, go make a play. Looked like it was going to be knocked down. Great concentration. Put the ball where your guy can catch it. And we talked about that. You're 1 score away from making this a football game.
With Wagner down, Bodwin stays on for the point after. And got some early movement up front.
Prior to snap, encroachment on the defense. Penalty half the distance to the goal, still an on-time down.
Pushes it right. And the point after is no good.
Usually you have Wagner kicking. Don't know what he went out with. Was it the stinger again? And like I said, that whole stinger thing is boy, it's tough to fight through. You see the 3-play, minute and 40-second drive, 3-man rush by Saguaro, so you're gonna have a nice pocket. Little play action pass to buy a little extra time, and looked almost like Dakota. Restad had a chance to knock that ball out of the air, but fantastic concentration, scoring the touchdown. And as you go to kick the ball off, there's almost a little bit of a letdown. And it's one of those things that I don't know if it's palpable or not. Palpable, I think is the word I'm trying to use, or not. But when you miss an extra point, there's just a smidge of a letdown if you miss an extra point. Especially getting offsides calls half the distance of the goal. It's a yard and a half closer.
So they'll line it up. Deep kick here. On a one hop. Short return taken back out around the 12. Christian Kirk on the return for the SaberCats. Is Foster getting a little bit of a breather?
And pretty close here on that kickoff. You see the ball hit the ground. The rule in high school football, ball crosses the goal line. Dead ball. Don't want any of those injuries, high violent collisions. Ball hits the ground. Let's see if it ever crosses like across the goal line right there. Judgment call by the official. Thunderbird might have just said, you know what, if DJ Foster's not going to be back there, we're kicking off to you.
Here's Foster. Look out. Up the near sideline. Makes a cut. And just finally forced out of bounds at the 46-yard line.
Well, and obviously DJ Foster, a very special talent, but you know, you're going to watch right here. Watch the block right here. That kind of frees him up. Nice job coming off the ball. Almost thought there's a hold there at the end of the line, but Thunderbird defensive and just trying to draw the holding call. Nice job by the officials.
Benzer back in. Give to Larson. Shakes a couple of defenders. He's got a block. Penalty flag. And he's dropped out of bounds. Close to the 25. But we'll see whether this one will come back or not.
Well, in that particular situation, it's got to be an illegal block of some kind.
And right now for Thunderbird, that clock can't run fast enough.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from spot of foul. Repeat first down.
Well, save for that first drive and penalties, but the only things that have stopped the Saguaro offense tonight.
Benzer out of the shotgun, looks, well, they have been feasting on that little seam route right there as he connects again to Elijah McDade.
I mean, that's a much more difficult throw than Rebenzer's making it look like. I mean, he's dropping that right over a jumping linebacker. I mean, you're sitting there.
Troy Custer, yeah, he's gotten it twice.
I mean, you can't play any better. You got the safety over the top. You got the linebacker underneath, and somehow Rebenzer drops it inside.
Foster stopping on a dime and tried to make the cut back, but a nice job there by Joey Latham to keep him in check. But that was the thing that Brent Wentweiler told us before the game, telling his defense, said, look, you have to make him stop his feet. You do that, and he becomes manageable. But as long as his feet are continuing to move, we will be in trouble.
And a lot of times it's easier for us to sit up here and talk about it and to watch film and say this is what we do than to actually do it.
Rebenzer wanted to go up top. He'll elect to run instead. Penalty flag on the play. And the penalty is just eating Saguaro up here with 2:07 to play in this first half.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of foul. Repeat first down.
I mean, we're talking still 2 minutes left in the first half, and you got 100 yards in penalties. but yet every one of them is contested by the coaching staff of Saguaro. At some point, you got to say, you know what? We got to coach our guys up. And again, it's fine when you're supremely talented because you can make up 25, 30 yards in penalties on a first down, which they've done a number of times tonight. But at some point, they're going to run into that team that's almost as good as they are, and that's how you'll lose.
Well, and if they don't score here, you know, it's only a 2-score difference. And as we mentioned, you get the football to Thunderbird to start the third quarter. As RPDezignz comes out, they go back to the payoff formation, we'll call it. The Wildcat, Foster. This takes it straight ahead. That defense comes calling, but not before he rips off close to 10 on the carry. That'll take us close to a minute remaining here in this first half as Thunderbird again trying to hurry that clock along at 3rd and long.
Well, and I said in the pregame, you're going to watch this kid, and every time he touches the ball, you're going to scoot towards the edge of your seat, and that's what you do. I mean, that looks like he's caught for no gain there, and yet he picks up 15 yards. And it's almost like, does Thunderbird like play flag football against him? I mean, you got all the white jerseys are there, and yet he runs through one tackle and then carries 2 other guys with him for 2 or 3 yards.
Final 42 seconds. Can the Chiefs get the stop? Foster again. Another penalty flag, and that's going to back him up.
Well, the thing that's got to be so frustrating if you're Thunderbirds, the fact is, you know what's coming. He's going to throw. He's going to throw one ball. He's throwing one ball and he complete it. But you know what's coming and you can't stop it. That's what drives you absolutely bad.
Holding on the offense. 10 yards. Repeat first down. Saguaro has their second called timeout.
Called here by the SaberCats with 32 seconds left, leading 28-13. Kevin Ray, Dale Hillestray, our entire Cox 7 team on hand. And Coach John Sanders calling his troops over, and I think it's pretty obvious the message he is trying to convey. We talked about some of the action coming up tomorrow night around the state. Our Goodwill Good Games of the week. Touched on Chaparral, Marcos, Deniza, Red Mountain, Mesquite. Both winners a week ago. Centennial and Millennium, who got the big road victory at Betty Fairfax last week. Boulder Creek and Brophy. Dobson, Desert Mountain. How about Tony Tabor and Desert Mountain? Hanging a big number on the board last week after going 0-10 last season.
Well, they scored what, half as many points
as they did all year.
A sophomore quarterback, sophomore wide receiver against Mountain View.
Benzer came back in.
I would get on that ball. That ball's live.
Well, it certainly looked like it was.
Tell you what, that ball is live.
And the officials seemed to make that call rather quickly, but based on how he turned and where that pass came, let's take a look at it.
That is an absolute lateral. And at any rate, Thunderbird, go get on the ball. I mean, make the officials make a call. Those are the little things that can win and lose you ball games.
RPDezignz back to pass again, wide open on the far side. Finally knocked the receiver out of bounds. Silva on the reception, and he'll have his team at the doorstep. And Dale, And go back to that last play. I mean, that is a huge turn of events.
Brings up a 3rd and 3 for the Sabercats with 22 seconds left here in the first half.
Well, you couple that last play with here, okay, I allow the completed pass, but keep them in bounds. Make them use their last timeout. Don't let them get out of bounds.
Foster back into the Wildcat. Working to his left. Did he get in? Yes. Touchdown, DJ Foster.
Foster on the carry. Bangs it in from 3 yards out.
5th rushing touchdown of the night for that young man.
Well, we've talked about it. You know what's happening. You know where the ball's going.
Point after good. 35-13, Saguaro. You go back to that opening offensive series for Thunderbird that saw them march 98 yards in just over 5 minutes. We thought big statement drive.
Yes.
The statement has been returned with an exclamation point, courtesy of DJ Foster and the Saguaro Sabercats, because they have been an absolute juggernaut since then. And you see what he's done here in the first half tonight. Last week went for 243 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. His average down a bit from a week ago, where he averaged almost 18.5 yards a carry. And that touchdown drive coming despite 3 penalties on that drive alone, I believe it was.
And not of the 5-yard variety.
Well over 100 yards in penalties for Saguaro, yet they lead at 35-13. So it's one of those instances where sometimes the numbers don't always add up.
Well, they don't. And again, I think you go back to a couple things. That play before they get down to the 3-yard line. It's a situation where you see the onside kick here by Saguaro. If that's called a lateral, which it definitely looked from our viewpoint like it was a lateral, then as we talked about, you're talking a 28-13 game going in at halftime.
17 seconds left here in the first half.
Yeah, at least 28-13, and who knows, maybe Thunderbird strikes a big play and puts another 6 or 7 on the board. Certainly changes the dynamics as you head to the locker room and get ready to get the football back to start the 3rd quarter. And now they'll line up in the protection formation here. Well, Marin's going to go ahead and take the snap. He'll look to throw, penalty flag. Now he's looking for a blocker, gets out of bounds with 9.6 seconds left, and the way they were lined up in the formation. Let's go back to that, what we thought was a lateral. You be the judge.
And you see right there, I mean, he's definitely throwing the ball backwards. And at any rate, it's interesting that the whistle is blown so quick, nobody even went for the ball. But you're talking about a very huge call right there that could have made a difference in this football game.
On the offense, 15 yards, repeat first down.
Here's Benoit. Has a big opening. Barrels over a couple of defenders and takes it into Saguaro territory, but that will close out the first half action here from Saguaro High School. No penalty flags. It doesn't.
No, it looks like Thunderbird's trying to get a timeout called there before the end of the half.
Well, it looks like they may have gotten it. One final play as the referee, Steve Huddleston, wants 1 second put back on the clock. Well, you've got the timeouts. You might as well use them. Chiefs claiming the title last year. That set them up in an unfamiliar role this year as defending champ and favorite. What's the coach think about that position?
It's uncharted territory for us for the most part. It's going to be different. Last year we flew under the radar a little bit where people weren't expecting that much from us, and we kind of slipped in and people weren't really looking at us too much. And this year now it's like you said, we're going to have people looking at us every week, and some teams are circling us on their schedule, and it's a different atmosphere and a different vibe that's going to be happening. But these kids, I think they can handle.
3-7 2 years ago. They entered the 2010 playoffs as the 10th seed and promptly defeated Liberty, Higley, and Desert Edge in overtime, and then went to overtime in the championship game and took down Williamsfield. One final play here in this first half. Marin winding up to throw, won't even get a chance to do so as he is dropped on a big sack, first time tonight. And that's how the SaberCats defense closes out the first half. The Chiefs scoring on their opening drive, going 98 yards. It's been all DJ Foster and the SaberCats since then. Foster with 5 rushing touchdowns. SaberCats lead it at the half, 35-13. You're watching live high school football on Cox 7 Arizona, presented by Universal Technical Institute.
I've been telling him that all week. I said, your drill has to be perfect if you're not doing any choreography. And it's slower, so it's a little bit easier to be like, okay, this is where I'm going, this is where I'm going. That was like 2 years ago.
The live high school football game of the week on Cox 7 is presented by Universal Technical Institute, industry's choice for technician training in the automotive, diesel, motorcycle, and marine fields, and sponsored by Grand Canyon University. Find your purpose. By Rock and Refuel by Shamrock Farms, the great tasting way to refuel and rebuild muscles. By Goodwill of Central Arizona. Good stuff, good work, Goodwill. By Don't Trash Arizona. Grow up, don't litter, don't trash Arizona. And by Stanley Security Systems, protecting what's important to you.
From the campus of Saguaro High School here in Scottsdale, a couple of defending champs going at it tonight, and thus far, the SaberCats having things their way, 35-13. Kevin Ray, Dale Hellestrate back here with you. Glad you could be a part of it tonight. And you looked at this matchup, and I think Brent Windweiler said it best. He said, look, win or lose, this will be a great barometer, great litmus test for us. And, he's halfway there, certainly plenty to build on, but plenty to talk about there at the break.
A lot to talk about. And again, when we talked about going into this game, that first drive of theirs was picture, textbook, perfect. And then once Saguaro started scoring, you get away from what you do best. And sometimes that allows the other team to get further ahead. So we'll see if they come out here in the second half. Again, I think they need to continue to pound the ball. And you know what? If it takes them 6 or 7 minutes to score a touchdown, it does. Rather than a minute and a half, give it back to the Saguaro offense.
Yeah, trying to see big picture here in week 2. Let's take a look at our first half highlights and stats. Don't Trash Arizona halftime highlights and stats. Don't Trash Arizona first half highlights and stats presented by Don't Trash Arizona. Grow up, don't litter, don't trash Arizona. Houston, the big showcase player for the Thunderbird Chiefs, looked good early on.
Well, nice first drive. You start the ball on your 2-yard line, 98-yard drive, and you finish it off with a touchdown, thinking things are going your way. But then after that, it was DJ Foster right, and DJ Foster left, and DJ Foster in the end zone. And you watch him here in these highlights, and he's just got a gear that most high school athletes don't have. And I think he goes about as hard as he needs to go. And
defense gave him a little help with Pierce getting the INT.
Giving them good field position, which they had for the majority of the first half. And, you see another touchdown here by Foster. And really the only thing you're going to say negative about the Saguaro team is the fact that as we watch the Thunderbird highlights here, you see the touchdown and, a nice throw, nice catch. If you're going to be Saguaro, you're going to go, we can't have 100-plus yards of penalties in the first half, and the majority of them unsportsmanlike conduct type penalties. And you see the stats there.
Yeah. 116 yards in penalties, 269 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns for DJ Foster. He now has 9 on the season. And Thunderbird looked like they might be able to hold them off, but they wind up scoring that touchdown there late, close out the first half. Thunderbird gets the football to begin the third quarter. Quick analysis, what do they need to do on this opening drive?
Well, I think they have to do what got them here, and that's run the football and have a 5 or 6 minute drive and come away with a touchdown, and then play defense. And somehow, some way, got to force a turnover. So it did not have any turnovers. Got to force a turnover and see if you can capitalize on that.
All right, we'll see if Brent Windweiler and his club come out ready to roll to begin this third quarter as we head to break. The fans here enjoying some of the halftime festivities here at Scottsdale High School. The Saguaro SaberCat Marching Band entertaining the fans. Back with the third quarter kick after this. Well, time now for the Goodwill Punt, Pass, and Kick Contest, recognizing outstanding moms that go above and beyond to support their schools and communities. Thunderbird is represented tonight by Christina Malmgren and Saguaro by Peggy Rebenzer. Prior to tonight's game, Christina and Peggy taking turns punting, passing, and kicking to win a $100 gift card from Goodwill of Central Arizona. They've also got a chance to win a grand prize at the end of the season, which includes a day at the spa. Be sure to check out their picture and awesome mom story on the Cox 7 website, cox7.com. And be sure, vote online for your favorite Goodwill Punt, Pass, and Kick mom at season's end in November. Congratulations again to Christina and Peggy, great representatives of their respective communities. Look at that. Wow, she's got some leg. Room to spare. Doing all that in the heat of the day as the sun hadn't gone down yet.
Is it hot out there?
Oh, I think we're going to get ours before it's all said and done. But we've been very fortunate these first 2 weeks, I will say that. Arcadia last week. Beautiful air-conditioned press box here at Saguaro in the honorary Dale Hellestray press box.
You know, the one thing is, as we ran down to use the facilities during halftime and at pregame, kind of forget how tall the home stands are here at Saguaro. See, we can see each other. I'm the good-looking guy in the blue. And you're drinking the rocket fuel, and you have a Snickers bar that you're not going to let
my rocket refuel. Yeah, I left the health bar at home, so got to go with the Snickers. Next best thing. Well, we've talked so much about DJ Foster, and hard not to when he's got 5 rushing touchdowns. But Connor Husted, not to be outdone just in terms of his big play and special play capabilities. Power runner, but also has the ability to break off the long run.
Well, this is all the first drive. And again, when you're talking about this offense, that's how this offense is going to be successful. You got to be able to run the football. And you're not going to score 30 points in a quarter or 35, 40 points in a half. You have to drive the ball, you have to run the ball, you have to do ball control, and you have to be physically dominant.
There you see the numbers on Husted this evening. I think both these teams have done a nice job, and their training staff should be commended. We haven't seen any cramping issues, no kind of dehydration issues that have crept up as of yet. And talking to both coaches, you know, one of the things that they have stressed here in the first couple of weeks of the season, and Brent Windweiler said, look, you know, you have to coach differently, you have to practice differently, you have to be smart about it, which is a far cry from the days when you were lining up and you got one water break of practice.
Take a couple salt tablets and let's go.
Let's hear from Coach John Sanders in his 5th season, 51 victories, the state of Saguaro football.
Well, we're really proud of the fact that we've won the state championship 4 out of 5 years, 1 semifinal loss in 09. We had a 37-win streak. It's been a great run here, and with that comes tradition, and it's a program that kids want to be a part of and they want to participate in.
And clearly, despite the change of conferences, divisions, call it what you will, they still, right now, the early favorite to defend their crown.
Well, if you believe rankings, then this is 1 and 2.
Get this third quarter started. Benoit bobbling it back at the 1-yard line. Looks for some blockers, sheds a couple of defenders, breaks out into the clear. He's got another blocker in front. And Kenai Benoit, no flags on the play, will take it 99 yards to get things started here in the third quarter for the Thunderbird Chiefs.
I guess so much for the 6-minute, 98-yard drive. It's just always so curious to me how this can happen. The guy, returner, drops the ball, missteps, whatever, throws everything off kilter, and then makes one guy miss, and then he's off to the races. Nice job not giving up on the play. Good blocking up front. And next thing you know, before people can get sat in their seats, you make it a 2-score football game.
So Benoit has his eyes on that kick return average of Connor Husted and surpassing it with that one. They'll line up to go for 2 after missing that last extra point. Scottsdale Saguaro here shy a man as they rush a defender out onto the field. Husted, single back set. Marin to keep, throw, complete. Plays good as he fires to Husted, who was wide open. And just like that, the Chiefs put 8 on the board. And feeling a whole lot better about the situation. Well, there is a penalty flag here on the play. Seems like we've said that on almost every play or every other play here tonight. And based on the looks of things, it's going to be marked off against Saguaro. Well, looks like they're going to pick the flag up.
Coming right into your living room. Again, for some reason, when a returner drops the ball, it just throws everything helter-skelter. And then if you have the talent that some of the returners have, all you need to do is make one guy miss now.
Well, and you hear those special team coaches say, especially on the kick return deal, lane containment. You have to stay, lane containment. But you're absolutely right. The moment that kick returner bobbles, certainly when he drops it, there's something about it.
Magnet.
They just, all of a sudden, your shoulders turn, and you go a straight line right to where he is, completely forgetting that there's 35 yards of open real estate to the backside of you.
And now as a returner, all you have to do is make 1 or 2 guys miss. You don't have your lanes, you don't have your layers, you make them miss, and the end zone's the only thing that's going to stop you.
Little pooch kick here. He'll drop it in front of the deep backs. Bounces at the 21. Nice job on the return there by Christian Kirk. Just a freshman, 5'9", 160 pounds. So SaberCats always seem to have a couple of speedsters there in the underclassmen ranks. Well, now we'll see if that Thunderbird defense can step up and get some stops here against DJ Foster and Rubenser in this explosive Saguaro offense, leading 35-21. Rubenser sets to throw, fires out, quick screen, up the far sideline after the completion. Got a great block downfield as Pierce on the catch and run.
Well, very interesting formation from Saguaro. I mean, you see this group of guys, but there's going to be 2 guys out here for Saguaro and only 1 Thunderbird defender. Throw the ball out there. I mean, that's really difficult. If you're gonna sit there and say, you know what, Rich Cook, you got to fight off the block and make a tackle. But
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of foul. Repeat first down.
Take a look at the numbers for the sophomore quarterback, Rebenzer, in the first half. That seam route had his man just off his back shoulder as Vince Silva knows he should have had that one. The senior, pretty sure-handed target, 26 receptions a year ago. And if he makes that grab, he is heading to the end zone. In fact, that's probably why he dropped it, because he peeked ahead and saw there was nothing in front of him.
Well, it's such
except six.
It's such a unique formation. You have two wide receivers flanked way right. And if you're Thunderbird, you don't want to really put two guys all the way out there, because you know Saguaro can run the ball like this. And so instead, you know, you're going to have Pugh out there going halfway in between in no man's land and not, you know, committing one way or the other. And just puts a lot of pressure on your defense.
And again, this is a Thunderbird team that's a little thin defensively tonight. And Barnes, who played early, sidelined this second half. Not sure what the injury on Barnes is, though he did deal with a knee injury much of last season. Wagner came in and played tonight, did not start. Played portion of the first quarter, about midway through the second quarter, went down and appeared to re-aggravate that stinger. As you see him with that arm in a sling. We talked about the loss of Light, out with a broken leg. As Rebenzer winds up, throws. There's Silva who makes the grab between the two defenders. And a first down catch. SaberCats on the move.
Well, and you can tell Saguaro's not afraid to call any play in its playbook. I don't care if it's a sophomore quarterback or a senior quarterback, but Rebenzer doing a nice job going right up the seam. You know you're going to get hit. Silva, you go right back to it. Silva drops the pass. Ball maybe thrown a little bit behind him on the previous attempt. This time, perfect throw, nice catch, concentrating because you know you're going to get hit.
Give goes to Larson. And one of the few times tonight that Thunderbird defense is being able to keep it a little or no gain.
Well, the thing about this Saguaro offense is, you know, you hold them here, and it's like, okay, we just gave Herlikian effort to stop them on first down, but this offense is capable of going 10, 12, 15 yards on the very next running play.
Second and long here for Rebenzer. The give to Larson again. Drags a couple of defenders. Now they just gang tackle him as they pick him up and throw him back. Ben Freeman, 6'3", 175-pound junior, just picked up his legs and hauled him back.
Well, and that's the difference. You see Larson here, nice job. A lot of white jerseys in the backfield and just trying to find any type of running room. And I guess that's when you're talking about gang tackling, that's what you're talking about right there.
Wildcat formation. It has had a high success rate so far tonight. And that trend will not change. 6th rushing touchdown of the evening for DJ Foster.
Well, it's almost like Saguaro kind of toys with you a little bit. And you're going to see right here, here's Larson who carried the ball last couple times. Watch him step up there, nice lead block. And boy, you give DJ Foster an opening like that, he's going to explode through it. And then number 2, you're not going to just come up and shoulder tackle him. As the extra point's good, you've got to wrap him up. And again, Coach Wittenweiler talked about that before the game. You can't just come up and try and take the big shot on him. You've got to get your arms wrapped around him, slow him down.
We're going to stay. Let's go.
Got to wrap him up and get him on the ground.
So he's All-State as a running back and defensive back a year ago, being recruited as both. If you're a coach, if you're a program, the Division I level, as we see the play again, what do you recruit him to play?
Well, I look at him, and I know there's a lot of comparisons out there. People want to compare him and Devontae Neal, who's a better high school guy. To me, offensively, boy, he's awful dynamic. He is awful dynamic offensively, and with the way college offensives are running now, boy, he could do a lot of damage. He could do a lot of damage offensively.
And I look at him and I see 6 feet, 185 pounds now, just based on a typical Division I weight training program. You throw on another 20 pounds,
even 15.
15 to 20 pounds.
Yeah.
You aren't likely to lose too much of that speed, that burst.
Well, I look at him and they list him at 185 pounds. He might be 190. He's the antithesis of me. That's why I'm always trying to put my weight lighter in the program. They might put a little more weight on him. But it's pretty magnificent to watch him run that offense. And again, that's what's so scary, is the fact that as a defensive coordinator, somebody watching this game, getting ready to play Saguaro the next couple weeks, okay, you got DJ Foster in as your Wildcat quarterback. All right, they run this play and they run that play. We can stop that. A lot more difficult than it sounds.
Well, Saguaro thought they had recovered that kick with another squib kick, short return. Chiefs will get it out near the 34-yard line. 8:33 to play, 42-21. Ten touchdowns in 2 games for DJ Foster. 6 tonight. The pitch goes to Husted. Tries to reverse field and is going to be dropped for a loss of about 3. You see that young sophomore coming up and making the play again. Hunter Bracey for the SaberCats.
Well, I think what's scary is to sit here and watch this game unfold, and this Saguaro defense, they're running guys out as Thunderbird's about to run the play. They're not really lined up correctly, but they're running the ball faster now here in the third quarter than they were in the first quarter.
Marin winding up to throw, has some pressure right into the hands of the defender, and his teammate chasing the receiver didn't see it. Pierce was ready for his second INT of the night.
He's not going to fault Ryan Merrill, though, for hustling down. Neither way. Merrill obviously did not see Pierce standing there, but trying to hit a little wheel route here is Thunderbird, and I think he gets hit just as he throws the ball, and that's one of those that trying to step into the ball is well, it looks like it's a roughing the quarterback penalty. As we're sitting here talking about a little bit of pressure being put on him.
And, based on the replay we saw there, Dale, the defender came in and tried to hold himself up. There wasn't a whole lot of contact there.
There was not nearly enough to even think about warranting a penalty.
To even have your hand on the flag, much less throw it. Loose football. And that's what Thunderbird could not afford to have. Another turnover, their second of the night. McDade scooping it up and gets the return.
Watch him right down here. McDade, watch him come up field. Nice job. And that just comes from film study, practice sessions, knowing what's coming. He jumped that count a little bit, knew what Thunderbird was trying to do. Defensive player's dream come true.
I saw Eli, I'm like, why is he turning?
Damn, I know that kid's gonna be talking.
All smiles from McDade, who's headed off to the Naval Academy. Rebenzer showing off his arm a little bit, as we've seen on a few occasions tonight. And, you know, this is a perfect scenario for Saguaro when you consider you've got a DJ Foster, you've got a sophomore quarterback, you get these kind of leads, and you can really put this young quarterback in situations that typically you would not be able to.
No, because usually when you have a sophomore quarterback, you're down 42-21, and you're trying to come back. You're trying to throw the ball all over the lot.
Give to Larson, straight ahead. Like that Rebenzer on the keeper. Sold us all a bill of goods there. Young quarterback showing off his magic tricks with the football.
Well, and that's why this offense works so good. Watch this handoff, fake handoff right there. Bunch of white jerseys jumping at it, and I just, again, as you watch this offense unfold, and you have all this misdirection, and then you throw the talent of a DJ Foster in there, and I just don't know how, as a linebacker, you see a lineman pull, and so you have to accept that, and then all of a sudden you see somebody misdirectioning, and is there really a handoff or not? And meanwhile, I'm getting hit in the head. And there's talent on this offense, but then when you watch how they run it and how they execute it, that's what makes it so special.
This power football. Larson gets stopped short of the goal line.
Larson on the carry. Gain 2 on the play. Brings up a 3rd and goal from the 1.
Go to Larson again. Touchdown, Saguaro. Someone other than DJ Foster finding themselves in the end zone here for the SaberCats.
Watch the pull right there. Nice job. Offensive line didn't have really anybody to block, but Eric Mandeville doing a nice job kicking out the end of the line of scrimmage. Larson getting into the end zone, and this offense, the other thing that it does, not only executing the plays that are called, but that no huddle type of thing. Not necessarily a hurry up, but the no huddle type thing to where defenses cannot rest. You're going to see right here, watch this kick out, and then you're going to see the backside guard pull, and there's nobody there to block. Makes it pretty easy. Tanner Case, one of those offensive linemen.
That for you, no one got the tackle, which is why I got destroyed. I thought that was my bad. I'm blocking that linebacker on the outside. No, somebody missed that. He's been making the play. Nobody knows how to fucking get him. So it's all good. We'll get him because I heard it.
Somebody missed somebody, but it wasn't bad because it still resulted in a touchdown.
I don't think he's talking about the touchdown play, but if that's calling getting destroyed as a Saguaro running back, oh my goodness. (6'1", 305).
Is he swinging by your store on the way home from practice? Is that?
I don't think we could feed him enough cookies.
And it certainly doesn't look like it's cookie weight. That's for sure. 49-21, Saguaro in control here.
And a little bit of the delay, we saw this last week at Arcadia. Get a little chance to get some water, the heat out there. Very smart, I think, on the AIA's part and the officiating crews. Give the guys, an extra minute or so to grab some water and all that. And we really have not. Last week we saw a little bit of the cramping. Not a whole lot tonight that I've noticed. And I always get a kick out of it because even, when I'm talking to kids, hydrate yourself. Drink water. Your body can only drink so much water. And if it's 110 degrees out, it's 110 degrees out.
Yeah, fine line between too little and too much. Benoit scoops it up at the 15. Sees a seam open up near the middle of the field, and now we get another penalty flag.
Dead ball, personal foul on the defense. 15 yards, first down.
Here's Benoit, gets the carry. He gets tracked down from behind by Cameron Larson.
Well, again, as I said on the last drive, I think what's stands out to me the most about this Saguaro team is as you watch the game unfold, we're talking about a 100+ degree night. A lot of guys going both ways, and yet this defense right now with 5 minutes left in the third quarter looks faster than it did in the first quarter.
Benoit, consecutive carries here. Defense giving chase. He's making him work for it. And he had to work for every bit of it, unfortunately. Play goes backwards. It'll bring up 3rd and long here for the Chiefs, who have no answer on either side of the ball suddenly.
A lot of running, just great penetration by that Saguaro defense. Steve Munoz, number 21, getting across the line of scrimmage. And again, when we talk about these fast, talented running backs, and Benoit is one of them, you get them running east and west, and they're not nearly as effective. And that's what you're seeing from the Saguaro defense. And unlike Saguaro's offense, this Thunderbird offense does not have that big play ability.
Man, pressured. Trying to set up the screen, but did not have time to get that developed.
Now you're trying 3rd and long. You figure they're going to blitz. They're going to rush a bunch of people and try and run a screen or a draw. And looked like there's a chance there for a second, but Saguaro did a nice job of covering up Husted.
Short kick fielded back at the 38. Everything going the way of the SaberCats.
That's McDade again catching the short punt, and you know, sometimes you're thinking I'm going to kick it to the sideline or outside the hash and towards the numbers, and nothing's going to happen. But Saguaro's taking advantage of every opportunity.
First and 10 SaberCats from the Chiefs' 39-yard line.
Benzer on the pump fake. Man wide open. Hauls it into the 10. Into the end zone. Touchdown, SaberCats. Dakota Restad off the arm of Benzer for 39 yards.
Well, you could tell that Saguaro almost was setting them up. That unusual formation, 2 wide receivers down at the bottom of your screen where they throwing a couple slant routes. This time a pump and go. Great execution. You can see why, if you're a Saguaro fan, Luke Rubenzer can really, really excite you. We saw a young sophomore quarterback down at South Point last week who, both of them, very, very bright futures, and that just puts your program in great hands for a couple years. Good protection up front. Thunderbird not quite sure what to do with this formation. As I said before, you got one guy kind of a no man's land in between because you have the threat of the run, but you still have 2 receivers out there. And Saguaro took advantage of that, and great execution on the play call.
Well, the SaberCats trying to exploit the secondary for Thunderbird that's been thin due to injuries here through the first 2 weeks. But Rubenzer certainly seems to possess all the tools necessary to become a complete quarterback here for the Saguaro SaberCats. And there's part of that secondary right there. That's not where you want them.
Your starting safeties both without shoulder pads on does not bode well for your defense.
Yeah, Barnes, again, no indication as to why he's out, but you wonder if he's re-aggravated that knee that he missed the last 4 regular season games with. Short kick, fielded back around the 36. Troy Custer on the return for the Chiefs.
And even with the 56-21 lead, you can see the respect that Saguaro gives to Husted on the kickoffs and Benoit, as they've seen both of them. Obviously one with a touchdown, Benoit, the other one Husted with a couple big returns.
Husted bouncing off a couple of defenders, gets into the clear at the 40, the 35, where he's finally ridden out of bounds by Foster, who gives him a complimentary pat on the backside. Foster can certainly appreciate a good run.
Gonna come right into your living room. Pretty good job up front, but breaks a couple tackles, and then again, whether it's Husted or DJ Foster, these guys are not going to be brought down with arm tackles. See him approaching 100 yards. I mean, he, on a given night, averaging 7.5 yards per carry is a pretty good high school night.
Hugh in motion on the misdirection. And Benoit. It's dropped for a loss of 2. Takes us under 4 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Look good to start as Benoit racing 99 yards to return the opening kick of the third quarter, but didn't slow down the SaberCat offense.
Watch McDade come from over here. Again, having one heck of a game tonight. Said his name quite a bit. Doesn't have the touchdowns, but has been all over the football field.
Marion winding up, throwing deep. Nobody back there except the black shirts. And fortunate the pass sails past the outstretched hands of the defender. Foster, one of those patrolling back there. Well, you mentioned McDade, as we noted, heading off to the Naval Academy. He'll join his brother Marcos, who is already there. McDade wrestling at 189 pounds last year.
.3.8 GPA, wants to be an anesthesiologist.
Third and long. Marin throwing, pass short, is complete. Bodwin on the reception.
Well, again, as we talked a little earlier in the half, what Saguaro's able to do is get you out of your comfort zone. And anytime you put up almost 60 points on a team, there's still 3 minutes left here in the third quarter. And you're a team that is kind of intent on wanting to run the ball, take time off the clock. And it's like, I'm sitting here looking at it going, hold on, didn't Thunderbird return the opening kickoff of the second half for a touchdown? And weren't we then thinking, oh, this might turn into a ball game?
Chiefs had to call a timeout as they were looking at a delay of game being whistled on 4th and long here. Let's take a look at what follows this matchup here against the Saguaro SaberCats. Big contest next week. They'll host Arcadia. Doesn't get any easier for Brent Wentweiler's club. Then at Paradise Valley, Greenway, Cactus, Carl Hayden, and they'll close a portion of that out against Moon Valley, and then final couple of games, Sunny Slope, and then at Washington. So defending champs tested every single week.
Well, and again, you take a look at them last year, a team that's the 10th seed. And nobody in their right mind's picking them to win the state championship last year. Great story and got on a roll at the perfect time. It's like the Packers winning the Super Bowl is a wild card. I mean, they got hot at the right time. And now, as I asked him that pregame, as defending champions, have you noticed anything different amongst your football team? And he said, great weight room in the summer. Leaders have stepped up. He said more so than anything, though, he's noticed external expectations, being ranked number 2, those type of things, to where he said, we just do our thing. And at the end of the year, we'll see where we are. You line up, you play the games. And if you're back to where you were, that's fantastic. A lot of people had said, hey, here's a neighborhood team, won the state championship. May there be some people transferring in and things like that. And he said he's actually got a smaller roster than he had last year.
Which he admittedly was surprised a little bit. He said that, there was a couple of kids from campus that he thought would come out. As the SaberCats rip off another long run, and one of the officials goes down in a heap, and he may be cramping up here.
And that's exactly why I think the National Football League has moved the umpire's position. You're going to see him standing right here. Watch all the action coming right at him, and you're trying to watch for holding. You're trying to watch for all those things, and then try and get out of the way.
And sometimes you forget how quickly these young men can move and get on top of you.
Almost looked like that left leg got caught under him.
Jeff Rodemeyer, our umpire tonight. Well, we've got a break in the action. Let's hear from Brent Wintweiler again, talking about that marvelous accomplishment last season, capturing the state crown.
This community is really rallied around us. Something that's never happened before happened last year. It was pretty special, and so a lot of people are really excited about it. And these kids deserve a lot of the credit because without them, we don't do what we did. So it's exciting. It's different. I mean, I've been coaching here for 15 years, 16 years now, and the atmosphere here is a lot different than it was in the past, and it's kind of neat.
Well, I think certainly adds to the appreciation for Brent Wintweiler. 6th season as a head coach, but as you heard him mention, 16 years there, was an assistant under the previous head coach, Gary Malden. So he's been through it all. He's seen it all.
He has, and obviously everybody kind of jumped on the neighborhood story. A lot of talk about the big schools and transfers and all that. And they did the neighborhood school, and he's going to have his son going to Thunderbird next year. It's a gorgeous little campus over there, by the way.
Very nice.
My daughter plays summer league basketball over there, a backdrop of the mountains. And our esteemed stage manager is an alumnus. And now the officials will have to make a little bit of a change.
Class of 1995, says Miss Sarah Brown there, as we get the shot of her working hard here this evening.
Surprised she didn't get caught reading the Reader's Digest up here.
It's a full-time job keeping you in line. First and 10. Look out, the Bulk bouncing out of the pack. Right now, it doesn't seem to matter whether it's Foster, Larson, or in this case, Ronnie Horn. 5'8" senior getting some carries here. With his club on top, 56-21, 2:10 to play in the third quarter.
Well, that's the thing. You have this, you have some of these seniors who aren't getting as much playing time as some other ones, and you put them in a game like this, and they still want to gain yards.
High snap. Rebenzer will keep it. Nice carry there from Rebenzer. 5'11", 165, so he's got a pretty good frame to build on over the next couple of seasons, Dale.
Well, a nice job not panicking. The snap a little bit high, still goes through with his play fake and picks up 5 yards. Now, very manageable second down situation.
Pump fake looking deep across the middle. Man there, off the hands. Looked like Restad was the intended target and would like to have had that one back.
Very good protection. Nice throw by Rebenzer. I mean, again, you're talking about throwing it over the linebacker, underneath the safety, throws it right on target. And he's a sophomore.
Pretty good night he's put together here in week 2. Sets up the screen. Penalty flag.
Rebenzer screen pass complete to number 20, Ron Horn. penalty marker on the play. Indication is holding against the SaberCats. 10-yard penalty for the start of the foul.
See Coach Sanders there. The one thing about a screen pass is the fact as an offensive lineman, you're taught to get beat. So the last thing you're going to do.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
Last thing you're going to do as an offensive lineman on a screen pass is hold, because you're going to let him beat you. So the defensive lineman thinks he's going to get the sack, and you dump the ball to the running back, and you're in front of him, and then you have a little caravan going.
Brings up 3rd and 22. Great break on the ball as Rebenzer completes it out here to Christian Kirk. But closing quickly, Joey Latham coming up, and brings up 4th and long now after the loss of 2. Latham a step away from getting on top of this ball. Maybe taking it back.
Really nice reaction, getting up there and making sure you get that tackle before the receiver can get going.
4th and long, and you would expect a quick kick here from Rebenzer. We saw him do it earlier tonight as he's dropped back another 3 or 4 yards, and does so here. It's turned into a pretty good punter as well.
Well, you know, if you can do that out of that formation.
Why would you line up in a regular punt formation?
Ever. First of all, very, very low possibility of getting a block. Second of all, every time the defense cannot put somebody back there to return the punt, because they've got to respect the fact that I don't care if it's 4th and 15, the SaberCats might go for it. And he's got this thing down to where you kick the ball end over end. He's got nice bounces, nice rolls, and then great coverage by the Saguaro offense / punt team.
Well, his mom put a little pressure on him tonight, so she took part in our punt, pass, and kick contest prior to tonight's game. Here's Husted trying to get outside, and he does, but he gets outside the hard way as he's whipped to the turf. Final play of the 3rd quarter. The Chiefs got it started with a 99-yard kick return, but it's been all Saguaro since then, as the SaberCats here at home leading it 56-21. You're watching live high school football on Cox 7 Arizona, presented by Universal Technical Institute. All smiles here at Saguaro. As we head to the fourth quarter, SaberCats leading at 56-21. DJ Foster and the SaberCats continuing to roll here through week 2. Top-ranked team, and they have done nothing to diminish that top spot. Well, and we've seen plenty of this tonight. I know you'll be shocked to hear me say.
On the defense.
Penalty flag.
All players in the formation. 5 yards. Still second down.
It's a 19th flag of the night, Dale Hillestree. And I'm told by our statistician, Jared Donnins, that that's just on Saguaro.
My arm would get tired.
Do we have a record? We'll have to talk to our producer, Rich Reed, if we have a 26 would be the record. So we're fast approaching. I think they would be classified as a dubious record.
Well, we had the DJ Foster matching the touchdown record for a Cox game.
Well, I think he surpassed it, actually.
Oh, surpassed it?
Yeah, 6-5 by Keegan Herring.
How long ago was that? That was before my time.
Right. Before we were honored with your presence.
Yes. About time.
2003, we think it was. Some records are meant to be broken. Others are meant to not be talked about.
Well, it's still early in this football season. That's the thing you look at. We've talked about some other matchups you got going on. Chaparral, Marcos Deniza tomorrow night. You know, you got Dobson, Desert Mountain.
Let's go, dude.
So hard to tell, because I've always said this. You can't base everything on an early season matchup, and you don't want to be playing your best football if you're a high school team in September, or any football team. Can you see Thunderbird continuing to improve? Can Saguaro get better? But I mean, if you're just sitting here looking straight at matchups, as I think our punter's down.
And that looks like Bodwin. And they certainly can't afford to lose anybody else. Eric Wagner, who generally handles their special teams duties, already out tonight. And it appears to be nothing more than a cramp, thank goodness. And Bodwin has had a busy night tonight, busier than usual because he has handled the kicking duties for Wagner.
And you can just see him go down. And that's the amazing thing about that is we were talking about that earlier. We know it's hot out there. We've seen both teams respond pretty darn well in this heat. Haven't seen a whole lot of cramping. The officials taking maybe an extra timeout or two as you go along, but boy, once it starts, the only way it stops is if you stop playing or if you get plugged into an IV.
Well, while they've got Tim tended to, let's hear from Coach John Sanders. Everybody's offering up thoughts on the new divisions. What does Coach John Sanders feel about Division III?
Our division is a lot like the old 4-1. There's a lot of familiar faces there with some new additions like Williamsfield that's going to be really good. But there's Cactus and there's Paradise Valley and a lot of the same schools. I'm not sure how they're going to do it at the end of the day, if they're going to have all section or all division. I'm still not sure on that, but it maps out to be real good competition for us.
Well, and I know that was one of the concerns that the coaches around the state had in losing the regions, because they felt that if you don't win a state championship, you can still, coach your team towards a region championship, and you can still be honored as an all-region player. Maybe you don't make all-state. And I think that was as much the concern, I think, as anything for some of the coaches. They wanted to feel like that there was some kind of reward system in place for the players, because the players realistically know that not everybody has a chance to win a state championship, but maybe you can realistically say we can win our region.
And you got a goal out there, and there's individual goals, and it's all going to take getting used to. And there are proponents for all ways to do it, and there's people who are going to complain about it however you do it. Let's give it a chance to work its way through, and at the end of the year, sit down and go, okay, you know what? There needs to be some tweaks put into this thing.
And I think, as the AI has done, for those teams who want to petition to play up, it's a 2-year block, so you're not committed long term. I think that they have looked at this as, look, nothing is set in stone here. After, 6 years, they broke away from the previous setup with the 5A1 and 5A2. So,
and there were people who didn't like that,
right?
And
because it diluted the championships,
right?
So.
And so, again, I do agree with this. I think at some point, we as Americans or Arizonans or whatever, it's not a right to win a championship. It's something that should be honored and something that should be cherished. And not every kid who puts on a football helmet or a basketball uniform or baseball glove has the right to win a championship. It should be something that's special.
Once again, getting some extra totes tonight, Ronnie Horn. As DJ Foster's night offensively done. And all for intensive purposes is done for the night altogether. Horn punches it in for the score.
Well, as we were talking earlier, again, early in the football season, you don't know who's good, who's not, all those type of situations. But if, in fact, you're saying Saguaro's the #1 ranked team and Thunderbird is the #2 ranked team, there's a pretty big disparity. But I have a feeling as this season unfolds, there'll be some teams that step up that surprise you. And I think that's a great thing about this sport. I mean, again, we were down in Tucson last Friday night. And one of the biggest shocking things that we heard was Desert Mountain rolling over Mountain View. Nobody knows. We did know that Desert Mountain, I believe, scored less than 100 points the entire season last year. And what do they have, 47?
Yeah, go.
Something like that on Friday night. That's what makes it fantastic.
Wrong draw on you, baby.
He wants it.
And I think for these two programs, granted tonight may not be a true reflection. And certainly Thunderbird missing some key players here tonight, even before kickoff, and now losing 3 or 4 more guys during the game. But the fact that you get these two programs together, I know, some people have talked about the loss of long-time matchups and rivalries. I think that with the computer scheduling, they've allowed that flexibility and freedom for teams who want to maintain some of those rivalries as best they can. But the chance to start a new rivalry, what was maybe a big rivalry to, someone like yourself or somebody else who played in the 80s and 90s may not be so much of a rivalry anymore. Maybe this turns into a bigger rivalry than Saguaro's had with other teams or other teams have with others. So, I think it really just comes down to the viewpoint, how you choose to approach it and how you want to try and sell it to your kids. And I think at the end of the day, the kids are the ones who are least affected by all this. As Benoit, another terrific return, had a 99-yard kick return for a score to start the third quarter. And a terrific one here, 34 yards for Benoit.
Well, and I do wholeheartedly agree with you in the fact that you see Benoit here doing a nice job. Remember, he's only a junior. 6 foot, 195 pounds, somebody to keep an eye on, not only this year, but next year. Fun to watch. But you're right, the kids are probably the least affected by all this of anybody. It's the parents and the fans and all that who get all caught up in the blogs and the boards and whatever else you can go on. But what I do appreciate about what the AIA allowed them to do this year is the fact that you could go up in whatever sport you want to, not in all sports. Right. I don't know how, I haven't done a survey on how many schools elected to do that and all that, but that is because, as you said earlier in the telecast, there are some schools that are just better in certain sports. And they always are.
Right.
Why, I don't know, but they always are. And so that's kind of a neat addition to the way they did it this time. And again, in 2 years, you look at how it worked out and you tweak the system.
Benoit taking it straight ahead will bring up third and short. New quarterback on the field for the Chiefs, number 6, Carter Hoffman, a 6'1", 160-pound junior.
Well, tell me this, we've had the opportunity to see Arcadia Coronado, Chaparral Salpointe, now Saguaro Thunderbird. Is there any doubt in your mind right now who's playing the best football?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. I think what Saguaro has done through these first 2 weeks has been impressive, and you take into consideration, I think Paradise Valley was a big question mark this year. Certainly Donnie Yanis doesn't have near the numbers of players that he's had in years past. I know that's hurt them. I think tonight, even with a healthy Thunderbird team, if they've got everybody on the field, I think Saguaro still wins this game.
And imagine if Saguaro decides to, hey, let's cut our penalties and just let's say half.
Here's Benoit again, getting some extra carries here late in this second half.
I think the scary thing to me is we're sitting up here, and if you don't look at the scoreboard, you're just kind of thinking you've been watching the game, and Saguaro has 63 points with 150 yards or so in penalties.
Pitch from Hoffman to Benoit. It looks like that's going to turn into another turnover. It will. Fumble. Saguaro ball. Third turnover of the night here for the Chiefs.
$63 points. Have not turned it over offensively. Defense flying to the football. And Benoit, for everything good he's done tonight, took his eye off the ball a little bit there to see where he's going to run with it.
Well, and through 2 games, that's what they're averaging, 63 points. 63-20, the final last week against Paradise Valley. Jared Donans, our statistician, flashes the card. 578 yards of total offense. And keep in mind, DJ Foster hasn't played since midway through the third quarter. He's got 6 rushing touchdowns. And adding to that offense, Cash Robinson, 5'10" junior for the SaberCats. So everybody getting some carries here tonight as they just keep the clock moving. At this point, both teams just want to get off the field without any further damage done injury-wise. Saguaro has not had anyone go down that we're aware of. Thunderbird, unfortunately, cannot say the same. It's been a costly first 2 weeks of the 2011 campaign for Brent Wittenweiler.
Well, and that's the thing on any level of football, how injuries can play a part into it. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be a major injury, but you miss a game or two with your key guys. And I think the thing to me as I'm looking at, I'm watching the Saguaro team is the fact that, DJ Foster's an unbelievable athlete. As good as we've seen. But I think the amazing part to me is how Saguaro continues to turn out linemen. Offensive linemen that are 275, 280, 285 pounds who can move and come off the ball and hit you.
Eric Swanson gets the carry here, a sophomore. So, and this is one of the reasons that they have been successful, because in years past, they've been in situations like this before. So you're able to get those sophomores a lot more reps than most teams can. And as we've noted a couple of times tonight already, you've got a sophomore quarterback starting. And in this case, you've got sophomores and some juniors who are getting a lot of extra reps the entire second half. Reestad in at quarterback, wide open, connects with his target. Another touchdown for the SaberCats. Merrill hauls it in on stride. And the scoring average just went up.
And again, I'm not sure if I expected anything different from a John Sanders coach football team, but that's classless. It's 63-21. I don't care who you have in the football game. You do not run a play action pass to score 70 points in a football game. There's absolutely no room for it in high school football. It's the reason people feel the way they do about him, and I better stop myself because you want me to go further.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Again, the kids run the play that's called. Reestad, nice throw. Not sure why your senior Ryan Merrill, starting fullback, still in the game with 2 minutes left and you're up 63-21. And thanks for all y'all watching at home.
But the players are going to do what the coaches tell them to do. And I just think it's borderline disgraceful to see that happen on a high school football field.
Well, it's hard to wrap your head around how a decision like that can be made. One of the things that we were chatting about during the timeouts were the number of flags. You get a night like this where so much has been discussed about the heat and the safety of the young men out on the field. You don't want to prolong the game any longer than necessary. You're in a situation where the game is certainly in hand, and understandable that you want to get some of your backups some reps and snaps, but I think your point is well taken that you've got a senior out there as a wideout. who makes the catch. And with that, we will move on. Here is tonight's Shamrock Farms Rock and Refuel replay of the game. Rock and Refuel, the great tasting way to refuel and rebuild muscles.
Earlier in the game, a nice throw catch.
The defense, 5 yards, still first down.
Well, looks like we're going to get that penalty record broken tonight. Hoffman with a nice move to get around the outside. Knocked out of bounds with 40 seconds left. It's like a busted play. Hoffman looked for a moment like he was going to try and pass and thought better of it. That'll be the final play of the game. Final here tonight, 70-21. SaberCats winning.
The live high school football game of the week on Cox 7 is presented by Universal Technical Institute, industry's choice for technician training in the automotive, diesel, motorcycle, and marine fields, and sponsored by Grand Canyon University. Find your purpose. By Rock and Refuel by Shamrock Farms, the great tasting way to refuel and rebuild muscles. By Goodwill of Central Arizona. Good stuff, good work, Goodwill. By Don't Trash Arizona. Grow up, don't litter, don't trash Arizona. And by Stanley Security Systems, protecting what's important to you.
Back at Saguaro High School, the SaberCats and Chiefs getting together tonight. A couple of defending champs. And it's the SaberCats who win it 70-21, the final. Thunderbird scoring on their opening drive, marching 98 yards. Had some big plays, but not nearly enough to match those of DJ Foster, who went for 6 touchdowns tonight. And the SaberCats hanging 70 on the board. Let's take a look at our Rock and Refuel recap of the game. Penalties. Now that's certainly a big story. Almost 200 yards in penalties tonight for the SaberCats. DJ Foster approaching 300 yards. Has 10 rushing touchdowns through 2 games. For Thunderbird, you certainly hope that those players who went down with injuries tonight are able to bounce back. Would certainly have an impact on their season if they're not able to. You have Barnes and Wagner, who both ended up spectators the entire second half.
Well, I'm looking at this. Saguaro's supremely talented. Very, very good football team. DJ Foster is as fine a high school football player as I've seen doing football games the last 4 or 5 years. I just think that it really bothers me that walking away from this game, what is going to stand out to me is the way they handle themselves, and that's the head coach on down, and that's John Sanders deciding to throw a pass to make it 70-21. I think that mars a fantastic performance by DJ Foster. I think it tells you everything you need to know, and that's I walk away from the game going, as an alumnus of Saguaro, with a sick feeling in my stomach, and I shouldn't be doing that, because these kids played their tails off, and they are as talented as we're going to see this year.
No denying that at all. Well, our next game on Cox 7 will feature 2 Division I schools. When the North Canyon Rattlers and their new head coach cross I-17 into Glendale, take on the Mountain Ridge Mountain Lions. New coach Conrad Hamilton. And the Rattlers on a roll while Bobby Green trying to get his Ridge boys back on track at home. That's next Thursday night at 7 right here on Cox 7, Cox HD channel 1007, and Cox7.com for viewing online. Live high school football on Cox 7 presented by Universal Technical Institute. We thank you for joining us here tonight for our entire Cox 7 team. Sarah Brown, our stage manager, statistician Jared Donnins, our director Pete Gordon, producer Rich Reed. For Dale Hellestray, I'm Kevin Ray saying good night from Saguaro High School.